42.
Open.
Heard.
L'hai sentito, vero? Il potere. Fu Vortigern a uccidere tuo padre. Non tenne conto di ciò che tu puoi fare con la spada.
From Dickens to Harry Potter to Batman, the stories that move the most are the ones in which the protagonist struggles for the loss of a parent or has a difficult relationship with family. You played a character with a difficult family situation in Sons of Anarchy. Here is the same. Why do you think that these stories where family is so difficult, are the ones that we love the most and moves us the most?
I think that the journey of life generally is to ascend to the greatest version of ourselves when we're really in tune with who we want to be and who we think we are capable of becoming. And I think we inherit a lot of that from our parents. But it's a difficult journey, and it's a constant journey. And I think that there's a tendency to both have the aspiration to exceed your parents, but the inevitable reality is you sort of become them, and you realize that you see the difficulty of the struggle the older you get. And so, really it's like... my personal belief is that it's the journey to become God, but the devil will trip you up every step of the way. If you look at the Bible, the Quran, you look at all of these holy texts, from an external point of view, it seems that the journey is a relationship with the external world, but I think actually that's a misinterpretation. I think it's all about the journey of the internal. And like I said, the responsibility of evolving into the best and freest version of yourself. And of course, our parents are our teachers in that. And reconciling their failure and then one's own failure is a bitter pill to swallow, but also a very valuable lesson.
The Vortigern and Arthur are different for many aspects, but the most interesting for me was their relationship with women and children. Arthur loves them and protects them, and Vortigern is ready to sacrifice them. So can we understand a lot from a man by his behavior with women and children or not?
Wow, you're asking some big questions. I think you can understand a lot about a person's relationship with women and children, and also for men with men. But again, I think it's goodness. That's such a big question. I don't even quite know how to answer it. I think if you look at Vortigern and Arthur, they are the two sides of the same coin. My belief is that all things are comprised of two equally important elements, which is light and darkness, good and evil. Sometimes, I've been asked in the past if I believe in God, and I say, yeah, of course, because God is one half of all things. However you perceive God to be, whatever the perception is, it's always about the balance between fear and faith. And the devil represents fear and God represents faith. And it's the reconciliation of those two giant influences in every element of life. And so the representation of that struggle in this is Arthur striving to be the light and Vortigern intent on being the darkness, and the reconciliation of the inevitable conflict of those two entities. And so I don't quite, I'm going to think about it because it's an interesting question. I don't know how to answer specifically their relationship to women and children, but I think on a greater level, it's their relationship to all things through the prism of light and darkness, good and evil.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
amazing job.
you